One. All right. Hey, how you doing over there, Anthony?
I'm doing pretty good, bro. Doing pretty good. How you?
Good. How you handling? You still working and stuff? Because I know a lot of things been going on with everything else. So I just wanted to reach out to you since you got the next guest. But how's everything with you, the family, and everything else?
Man, everybody's good. I'm still well. I got laid off for a minute because being a massage therapist now, the whole virus situation shut the industry down.
Right.
So, but I ended up going back into my initial career field as a case manager, working a new job now, working with
Oh,
Salvation Army. Yeah, just got plugged in with Salvation Army, doing a veteran service support court case manager actually.
nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice. So I mean, it's like you ain't the only one going through all of this. I mean, between me, you, Ray, this and that, it's like everybody's there. So
Everybody.
you're not just the only one. So
Right.
all right, guys, it's 6 o'clock. I just want to say, welcome to my guests. Welcome to episode 3 of Real Talk, Real Stories, Real Change with Anthony Gilyard. And today in this episode, Anthony and I discussed the Real Talk Youth Impact Program, and one of the main topics that was so cool was, he talks to his kids. In fact, Anthony, I'm going to show you a little stream of you talking to the kids back in 2017, and we can continue this. I
Do
thought this was
that.
pretty cool. In fact, Ray was right there. So let's play this. So
Something out of this that you
it
can
was
take with
something.
you. Our first speaker tonight is Mr. Anthony.
Uh huh.
42 years old. He served a total of 12 and a half years in state custody. His purpose for participating in the program is to advise the youth that they do not have to keep up an image to be popular. He also wishes to express the importance of making good choices. Mr. Anthony has successfully completed his term of parole and is employed full-time. He also earned his college degree. Go ahead and give a welcome to Mr. Anthony.
Hello, everyone.
All right, we're gonna stop that right there. I didn't want to kill it for everybody, but you mean
Yeah, don't give away the goods yet. Don't give
yeah,
away the
yeah.
goods.
So, as you can see, Anthony has also been with us for a long time. You know what I mean? But we're gonna go back to the title, right? We titled this thing "Drop the Hammer and the Charge," right? How being cool and a hammer changed his life. And in fact, some of these things that Anthony says to these kids is he has a tagline, "Obey your thirst." You know, and I wonder what he meant to that. I figure I put you on this real talk, real stories, real change, and let you explain your thing before we get into the show and everything else.
Right. So the way I've really pulled from the Sprite, the soda pop Sprite, their commercial. They had a commercial back in the day. It was always image is nothing. Obey your thirst. And so to me, I equated that as, I used to wonder when I watched the commercial, but I pretty much equated it to the idea of being true to yourself. Don't try to go with the hype of trying to fit in, trying to be the most popular, or for the ladies, trying to be the prettiest on campus. But, just be you. And I think right there, it just speaks volumes.
Right, right, right. I mean, that's one of the things that I noticed that you address with a lot of your speaking engagements
Yeah.
because it got you into a lot of trouble at one point in your life without giving everything away. I wanted to ask you, since we titled this "The Hammer," explain to my audience or people in the future so that later on when we get back, I want them to refer back to you so they can relate to you about what the hammer meant and how that one decision changed your life.
Well, that hammer situation, like I say, so it really is related to my crime, that the one crime that changed my life, if you will. I was active duty in the military, in the
Mm,
Marine Corps, and it was a payday weekend, Friday the 13th of all times, right? And during this time is when I was hit in the head with a hammer on an attempted robbery. And so when that happened, I really kind of, what the police helped me understand, or the way they viewed it, is I took the law into my own hands. I did what I was for the most part, trained to do in the military. But at the same time, in the civilian world, I took the law into my own hands and acted as a vigilante. And that really, it ended up in me almost about to kill someone. Not about to, but just about killed someone. And so that cost me that time. I ended up taking a plea bargain, and that was ultimately resulted in 15 years, 8 months with 85% and 2 strikes, state time. I didn't do Fed time. It happened to a civilian out on town. So yeah, and then I ended up pulling 12 years and 6 months on the day.
Right,
So
right, right. I mean, that's just, I mean, just that in its own. That's why when you hear Anthony's story and what happened, I mean, the list. So this is what happened, guys. Anthony gave me, I said, give me some things of where I can introduce yourself. And he sent me a list where it all started, right? But
started.
I wanted to elaborate for Mr. Gilyard here because he's one of our founding members. And since we're in this COVID stay-at-home order and all this stuff, we wanted to bring this so that we can get back and get, like I said, everybody on here so we can get some sort of form of regulation using this form so that everybody else can one day at least see what we do and come see us live in person, right? All right, Mr. Anthony, we're going to start with the show. We got all the formalities out of the way. Figure we get some questions. In fact, I love seeing your smiling face. So a lot of people got to know you from just that intro, just what you've been saying, right? So guys, Anthony is an interventionist and an expert working with all type of people. As you mentioned in his career, he is certified, right? And well, because of his schooling and degrees, but his main focus at the time is with our program, with that, and how we can try to change their kids' path, the kids that we also come in contact with, their path. Anthony is also one of the founding members of the Youth Impact Program, and he also went to school on a scholarship, on a football scholarship, until he got hurt. Joined the Marines, as he said earlier, to try to, and has his bachelor degrees in human services. He's a licensed massage therapist and is currently a veteran family service coordinator with the Salvation Army. How's that going for you over there?
You know what? So far, so good. I just got started. Working with my coworkers has been great. They've been real generous and showing me around. And real quick, the highlights so far was yesterday, Cinco de Mayo. We were able to feed the members inside the program, the attendants, and then we also were able to feed the homeless that came through, that go through and on a regular day lunch for Cinco de Mayo, and it was catered by a local restaurant that was quite awesome, man. It was a really rewarding experience, and it's humbling at the same time.
Right.
So,
I mean, you can't get no better than that when you can give something, when you see things like that and you're actually having a hand in it so that you can actually share like a little bit of purpose of what you believe in and what you stand for. And then, that's why I love working with guys like Anthony, Ray, Tasha, and many more to come, because we see it in their heart. We can spot them when we come in, and it's like we've been friends for over, I would say, since like over 5, 6, 7, 8 years now.
Yeah,
if you want to count it,
wow, already.
By, right? All right. So, all right, Mr. Anthony, what made you get involved in working with at-risk or the program?
Well, you know what? What got me involved is, like I say, always having that heart to want to give back. But at the same time, I was doing my internship when I first met Miss Cherie. I was doing an internship at a local transitional living facility, and I went in to kind of turn in my reports, my paperwork, and what have you. And at the time, the young lady that was supervising me let me know that she had to introduce me to this woman that was coming in. She was like, "You would be a perfect candidate for her program," and I'm like, kind of leery about this. You want to offer me for whatever it may be. But when I met Cherie, started telling me how she was a federal probation officer. She was still working at the time, but she was getting this off the ground. And I'm like, you know what? I am all for it. I am all for it. I'd love for my story to be able to help the youth, because I think I got quite a bit of an experience to pull from, so yeah.
Right. Right. I mean, and Anthony's story when he gets rolling, kids' mouth just drop. If I was to show you the rest of that, kids are the youth, because a lot of the times the kids need someone else to look up to that's been down that path, and that's what we provide for you, especially with Mr. Geared serving, having a 15-year sentence and explaining it. He started out from a football scholarship. Things went awry, and this is what happened. So we try to change that path that the kids. And Anthony's a perfect example of what can be done, what cannot be done, and he explains it in a way that nobody else can relate to that, except for when he's with these kids. And I'm just so grateful to have him on the show today. All right, Anthony, what is your role in the program, and what do you think it's about?
You know what? The whole idea of what we title our meetings when we meet with the kids, change one meeting, right? I'm loving the idea how, she was amazing when she came up with this idea, this concept, but being able to get in my role is just to be able to share a genuine truth and give the children a different reality, whether they have it in their homes because they're so near it, they can't really hear it. But if they come outside of that and listen to us, and I think we can really have that platform to change their mindset. You know what I mean? And so I'm just a tool. I'm really just a tool to be able to help invest in these children's lives. And so, I really have major respect for Cherie and the rest of the members, because this is what we do. Together we can. So.
Right. I mean, it's really, especially for the area that we live in. We currently live in Las Vegas. I mean, it's just some of the kids don't have no place to go. Moms and dads working 24 hours a day. They get into mischief. We just want to give them some sort of seed that, there is other options, and we provide them with options, especially coming out of this. We're looking to improve the program, and Anthony and many of our other speakers are going to be detrimental in moving the community in the right direction. All right, here's another one. I'm trying to put Anthony in the spot right here.
I'm with it. I'm ready.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Get him a little bit. Later on. This is how I look at it, Anthony. One day when this is all said and done, when we're on like the 500th episode, I want to be able to refer back to Anthony Gilyard. So refer back to Anthony in episode 3, right? And how you can relate to this. Explain to the audience one of your darkest times being arrested or incarcerated.
Man, it was 12 and a half years was a lot of hard time. But you know what? I think if I had to be as honest with self first, it was the idea when I a part of my program, what I call it program, right? A part of my program, when I was coming through, I had a mentor that told me the hardest thing I'm getting ready to do is face myself, look in the mirror and face myself. And when we begin to peel back the layers of that onion that's me, or that makes up who I am, or at the time who I was, it was a hard walk, because I had to listen to the truth of how people viewed me, and at the same time come to realize how I've hurt others. And then being able to face that truth of being a manipulator, being a liar, being a conniver, you know what I mean? A womanizer, and just a hard-headed, prideful individual, because it was all about me. And so it was a hard journey. You know what I mean? It was a hard journey to take a look at myself. But then now, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. That was an amazing time for me. It was hard though.
See, one of the main things that this is how I know we're doing something so right, because not only does the program help youth and their parents and stuff, it helps us as individuals. Anthony can always lean on me, and I can see the true passion and where the struggles we all been through in the green shirts, because not many people mentally, psychologically, and actually emotionally come through this until they find themselves. And Anthony is one of them that has found himself. And I know if I know Anthony, I can see it in his heart. I can see it in his eyes because you've been down that path. And basically, it's like, you know, they say game recognize game. You know, OG recognize OG. Gangsters recognize gangsters. But we also change from that stigma, like you said, you want to be the coolest, the womanizer, you know, manipulator, to an all selfless, giving type of person. And we see that in each and every one of us because that's something very important in this world that not many people come out, right?
It's a hard road, yeah. And
Yeah.
you know, at the same time, I talk to the kids, and when we talk to the children, it's it's different because you know I tell them if stop putting on the image, stop and
Mm.
get out of your own way. But at the same time, when I did that, I had to be careful because I went to the extreme, if you will, and became such a people pleaser. I began to I didn't understand who I really was still, you know, still trying to get that footing to be, where's my voice? But at the same, so I became that people pleaser, and I would, as my pastor has just recently helped me understand, I was catching myself on fire to keep others warm, and that's
Yeah.
something we shouldn't do for sure.
Yeah, it's just that's a big thing, especially with today's youth and the kids. Just not even because we help all type of youth, not even just the ones that you see that's court order. We help the whole community. A
Community.
lot of it they see on social media, they see it on Facebook, they see it on TikTok. They all want to be somebody else, and our stories point them in the ways like if you don't find yourself right now at that very young age, some will get it, some don't. You know what I mean? And then it's actually it's good to see that gentlemen like Anthony can actually steer them in the right direction. I mean, when he comes out, like you can't tell right now, but when he has his dreads down, his
Oh yeah,
braids
it's
down,
all
right?
yeah.
It has a
Okay.
meaning to it, right? It's just same when I had my long hair braided up, there was a meaning to it, and he explains it as some of that, or that he explains some of that to the kids, why that meaning and stuff, and he still carries that because it means something to him,
And
and it
something.
became part of his identity, which is so honorable and respectful. And basically, I love the man for it because he's been there, done that, seen that, and then I keep telling people there's not many people that can go through the same things and come out becoming the person you are right now. That's why we have these people.
But you know what? I even still, I've walked the long road. It's been a road. Uh,
Oh,
it's been a road, and I believe me, I'm not perfect in no way. As I share with the kids, and I'm sure you've heard me say, I'm better, but I'm not well. I still need my own help. I still have to ask the Lord to give me some grace, man, and work with me because I am truly a work in progress still. So yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and the minute we think we got it all, that's when it all goes downhill. We
oh,
both know
man,
that. All
yeah.
right. All right. Let me ask you this personal question. How has your educational path changed your life?
My educational path. I think I had to be. You know what? It. I think I've found a lot. It's changed my life because it's given me a sense of pride that I'm not as I'm not as dumb as a box of rocks. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I say it that way because that's been some of the things that has been spoken on to me when I was coming
Right.
through. You know what I mean? When I was coming through the system, when I was younger, um, in the military, it people are people can be cruel with their words. You know what I mean? And then I bought into a lot of that negative talk, and then being able to kind of go through, um, graduating high school and then going into college. Um, and then, mind you, I went into college my freshman year in 1993, but I ultimately didn't finish and get my bachelor's until 2014. Talking about persistent and not giving up, yeah, it gives me a sense of pride to want to get it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I told if I was to put all this down for Anthony's accomplishments, and he's being modest at the point, right? If I was to show you this, right?
The
This is
explanation of how I came to be.
all those accomplishments, right? And I was like, man, I can't do it all, but I'll take in some highlights. But just to give you a brief,
Yeah.
because this is about real stories, real
Story.
change, right? You know, he got his associate's degree in liberal arts from Latin Community College and became a substance abuse counselor, and bachelor's degree from University of Phoenix in 2014. You mean did Marines in 15 months? I mean, it's just started in 1993 on a school scholarship at Idaho. I do some research for you guys so that you guys have, you know,
And,
it's just.
and I was gonna say, that the path, what the viewers may not know is that starting out at college in '93 at Idaho State, losing that scholarship, going down to a junior college, because I couldn't handle it at the big university at such a time. My mental state wasn't right. I was too young still. Went down to a junior college, played there for a year, got hurt, and then that's when I joined the Marine Corps. My situation landed me in the institution, landed me in prison in California, and that's where I got the liberal arts degree, an associate's degree, and then the substance abuse counseling while I was incarcerated. And then finally, after paroling, then I went back into school and finished up my bachelor's. So it's been a road. Yeah.
It's been a hell of a road, if you ask me. But you got to be proud of your accomplishments, just like Tasha's last week. I mean, sometimes as when we look where we started and where you are right now, you can breathe a sigh of relief. But at the same time, it's like you don't give yourself enough credit for what you've been through, what you've accomplished, how you changed, and doing that. And that's one of the things that I wanted to give much more other of our speakers this platform, right? That they can get their story out, get their word out, get what they believe in. You mean get things so that they can actually show that, we're not just all, like you said, a box of dumb rocks, right? Because yeah, we misguided at some point. We made some bad decisions,
Truly,
right?
Truly,
Emotionally and stuff like that. But at the same time, we can overcome roadblocks, adversities, things that most people would just fold up and go. So the way I see it, we're kind of like stronger and more persistent than anybody else, because to overcome that in a way that most people wouldn't do is to be congratulating, and you don't get enough credit for what you've done. And I just want to say thank you, brother, for being on here and being part of everything that we got going on. But let me ask you, back to the program. Where do you see our program, the Real Talk program, in the future?
You know what? From the beginning, Cherie's always talked about how she wanted to one day go national, if not global. But at the same time, this platform now has allowed, I think, us to really take that global expansion step. But being able to open up in Texas, that was amazing. So, and mind you, it's just getting started. I mean, we've been plugging away at this for a minute, but it's just getting started. And with Cherie's vision, as long as she stays at the helm, works with her board, and they stay open and positive, and we're taking steps in the right direction. Oh man, it's sky's the limit. It really is sky's the limit. I can actually see a documentary or making of this some kind of way on the big screen one day, to highlight Cherie and her struggles and her stories, man. And it's just constant. Never give up. Never give up. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's like
they prayed up too.
Oh yeah, definitely prayed up. Well, with faith and the man up above, and we all pretty much have a believer in the man up above. You know what I mean? When you look back from using this platform, since we're going with this digital stuff, I got people from messaging me from Guam, Philippines, San Cabo Lucas, Mexico, TJ, Washington, New York, Texas.
Wow.
It's just ridiculous, Anthony. That's why I was so adamant of you coming on this thing to say yourself, because it's like people want to do this. Julian is probably watching this right now. He's doing it in Texas.
And if you're watching Julian, hey, represent brother out there. Keep it right.
We're working on branching out and doing, Andrew is setting something up to possibly be in New Mexico. We have people in California, from all parts of California, that's kind of like going to be watching this later, because I know I don't just do this here. I'm spreading this on all different platforms also. So it's like it's gaining that type of traction, because we don't know what's going to happen, but we want to have it at least so that we can provide the information to one day you're going to be like, hey, refer back to episode 3 with Anthony Gilyard. You know what I mean? Right? So talk
I
about,
think it'll be just you referring back to episode 3, man. I don't know. We can make
no,
that
brother.
kind of back.
Because, brother, regardless of what happens, we're all going to do this together, because we can't do it alone. It's a team
Right.
effort, right?
It is definitely that.
All right, Mr. Geary, before we close out, what message would you tell the parents of youth that might be going crazy at home or anything, or any other at risk that you just want to get across with the parents? Because we do parent groups also. Any message that you want to get across?
With the parents, I always think and keep my mother in mind, because my mom did a heck of a job raising 3 boys by herself. Stay strong. Stay strong. Stay connected to the children and listen to them. Never give up on them. Almost getting emotional thinking about it.
No, yeah.
Never give up on your children. And remember, you didn't join their life. They joined yours. So it's not about being friends with them. It's about raising them and guiding them. But never give up on them. Never give up.
I mean, I've seen Anthony passionately talk to the parents in our parent group, because we both, know how important families' lives is, and how important instilling confidence and doing things so that at least the child, the youth in the situation, no matter what's going on outside of it all, as long as you don't give up on your kid,
Right.
as long as you don't give up on the youth, even if you're a co-parent, single parent, just a guardian, a grandparent, if you can install some good values and do things and never give up, I mean, that's a whole nother story. But they might just be able to turn the corner and make a better life for themselves, and they can use it as a story to uplift them. And it's been perfect. I mean, I was looking at you there. Don't get me emotional, because
Right,
it's like we were supposed to be all day. Hey. But it goes to show that we're real people with real stories that have real change, and we want to portray that to our viewers that's going to be watching the replays on this. All right, guys, we want to close this out. This is going to be a time. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much for being with us this week. If any of you have someone that needs to hear this message or wants to be part of a program, wants to be a guest, wants to be a speaker, reach out to either me or Anthony Gilyard, or any of the speakers that you might be in social contact with, or head on over to www.realtalkyip.org. And let us see if you can become part of this family, this movement, that situation that we want to do. If you enjoyed this 3rd episode, guys, don't forget to please like, share, subscribe to get automatic updates, and leave a comment so that we can address certain future episodes of the Real Change, the Real Talk, Real Stories, Real Change episode. And finally, please take a minute to leave us an honest review if this is helping, guys. Anthony, any closing remarks?
You know what? Thank you guys. Thank God first, but thank everyone for participating, and our speakers and Cherie, the board. Thank you guys so much, because truly we wouldn't be here without really Cherie's vision. But thank God, truly.
All right, guys. Have a good night. You guys be safe. Hope everybody gets situation changes with this going on. And we'll get you on the next one. All right.
All righty. Thank you, guys.